to Bro Taste This.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to Vida Vino episode 48.
48.
Where we break down wine, food news, and our childhood trauma. Joined with me today is Philip Golden Corral.
Oh.
I am Luis Pablo.
The Fred Durst of podcasting himself.
Fred Durst. I like that. Today we'll be talking about some news and some coffee. Today we haven't drank wine for a while.
No. And what perfect occasion
Replacement.
for the substitute for the wine than coffee with some of the big news we're going to get into today. We're going to get into a little bit of soccer, a little bit of Bundesliga news.
Yeah, not Bundesliga, Barcelona news.
Is there a difference?
Big difference.
And we're going to find out what that difference here, folks, on top of the hour. But we also got a bit of Alex Jones, catch up on the defamation trial.
Real knucklehead, that guy.
A real loose cannon, that Jones. We're going to talk about the FBI raid on a former president of the United States of America, or to some of you, proud supporters, still the current president.
Still the current president.
I know who you are. Shout out.
I wonder how it looks in here.
It looks beautiful.
It's bright.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, you know what? Let's just turn on all the lights.
I do like what you added to this. You added the LED light, a little bit of the light curtains here.
Oh, I don't like that. It's flashing like crazy.
It makes it vibrant.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Like an SOS. If you were on FC's island, you're like, please help me. Help, assistance. Help, assistance. This is what led to the downfall of Pokemon.
That looks like it's good.
There was a big epilepsy case. A bunch of kids going epileptical.
I think it was like episode 7 or 14 or something.
Mm-hmm. Just a bunch of kids with seizures out in Japan. Like,
yeah.
Which is no laughing matter.
It is not a laughing matter at all. No. But yeah, that show really got a lot of criticism, and it was like, if your kid is watching this, he's gonna go to hell. It's demons. Yeah. It's awful. It's evil. It's
a medical condition to watch it, and like you said, satanic purposes and demons.
Isn't that with everything new that comes out? It's like, how is Fortnite ruining your kids?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Fortnite's gonna ruin me. Wow. Forget about the kids. Worry about me being ruined.
You're a big Fortnite player, right?
I'm somewhat. I only come around every couple of months when they drop new skins or new merch drop, which they
do often.
That's their motto. That's how their bread and butter. Right. And they got me this week. They got me good.
Again, with what did they release?
This Friday, as we're recording, the new Dragon Ball Super comes out. And for the first time ever,
Fortnite release?
Yeah, for the first time ever, the Dragon Ball Z characters are coming to you in Fortnite, which is super dumb and super lame. That I'm like,
also awesome.
It's super lame that I feel that way. Like, it's so pumped. I'm so awesome.
That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new Dragon Ball movie also.
Oh yeah, it's gonna hit the theaters here in America domestically
in 2 weeks
on the 18th.
Yeah,
this Friday.
2 weeks, yeah.
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 Technically in 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, I'm super stoked. It looks fun. The animation looks really clean.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks different too, like the storyline. This is for our anime fans here, all 2 of them. We're excited to see what it brings, and I saw Dragon Ball Super. I think it was last year or the year before, and super cool show, super fun.
Did you ever catch any of the theatrical releases?
I've gone back and seen what is it?
The Broly one that came out.
The Broly one, and then the Frieza one.
Oh yeah, the Battle of Restoration of F or whatever.
Resurrection F. Mm-hmm. That's what, So I did catch those, and now super stoked.
F standing for Frieza.
Yeah, and R.I.P. to the voice actor, man.
Really?
He did super well. He died last year, I believe.
Oh damn.
I know.
COVID or
so I don't know, something.
Oh, we can actually say that because of our sponsorship with the One China policy.
We don't want to get demonetized.
That nasty epidemic that took the world by storm a couple of years ago, whatever that was.
But
speaking of epidemics that are taking the nation by storm, Did you see the news by the recent TikTok of like it's like 20-some million now views of the Starbucks workers walking out?
Yes, that's a great segment to get into our coffee tasting today. In front of us, we have Starbucks, we have McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and Wendy's. All black coffee.
All black
coffee.
Roasted coffee.
So we're hoping we get a good taste of what each of these companies has to offer.
Mm-hmm. And according to Starbucks, they don't have a lot of benefits to offer.
They don't offer anything, apparently.
No, good old walkout.
Yeah, people are walking out. There was a lot of cases of this in New York specifically.
Yep.
But overall, I mean, I'm not surprised. We've been talking about this for a year now.
Yeah, they literally brought that up in the article. It's been almost a year since they all unionized, 187 locations out there. And there's been a growing number of petitions with the labor laws saying that Starbucks is the corporation. It's intimidating union workers and like its workers for its like writing up supervisors or bringing ethics complaints. And it's funny because a company that takes itself so progressive like Starbucks, it's in the forefront of progressivism, is pretty much, intimidating these strong arming these folks.
Yeah.
Blue collar folks.
And
which is not good.
The one that I saw, there's been obviously a bunch lately. Mm-hmm. The one that I saw was everybody was walking out because they fired the union leader for no reason.
Yep.
They like just fired him, so everybody was like, well, fuck this, we're all leaving then. Yeah,
and to follow up on that specific story, that guy that was fired over like a month old like discretion. He closed up the shop early because there was just understaffed, and they're like, oh, you didn't follow proper protocols, but he got the okay from his supervisor, so they're like, You're using him as a scapegoat unfairly. He's been there for 13 years. He's a staple within that Towanda whatever area.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to say that. It's Towanda, New York.
What'd you call me? No, but dude, it sucks. Like they're just looking for any reason to like fire this guy, and dude, it's crazy because this morning I went to Starbucks and Dunkin', and Starbucks was A, crazy busy, and B, crazy slow.
Damn.
Like, does that make sense? Like,
it was crazy busy, but it was understaffed, so they weren't seeing so many people.
I'm not saying it was busy, but it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, they were so slow, and I'm like, oh man, like I felt it right away. I'm like, yeah, this understaffing is real. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because like, you pull up and they have like, we're hiring someone. We offer tuition reimbursement, and we offer high paying jobs.
It says text this number right away, and we'll send you an application. All easy format, convenience for us.
And then even like at the window, it was like now hiring. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, this stuff is making national news. Who the fuck is gonna want to work for you guys?
It's just that the great reset, the whole leaving the job market shortage because we're undervalued. And like they were talking in that book with Corey Mintz a couple weeks ago. What's it called? The death of the restaurant industry, or
the next supper in the future of restaurants after 2020 COVID.
I guess, or they should have called it the Last Supper for Starbucks, because in the book they mentioned in the last chapter of like most of like Starbucks was an example. They're gonna opt out from like the hourly wage and tip him a server wage and have that supplemented with tips. That's like an idea that they talked about.
That's so stupid.
So like you already are understaffing or treat these people like waitresses or waiters.
Overworking.
Yeah. And like I was in line for quite a bit to get my coffee. I can only imagine how it was at Dunkin', an understaffed Dunkin' or understaffed Starbucks.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. It was pretty bad at both. And yeah, man, I think we talk about this. I know Juan is very passionate about this topic, and
he loves his unions.
We should mention that he is celebrating kind of a honeymoon. Like he has an actual big destination planned, I think a year from now, but him and his wife, who we'd like to say congratulations to once again, are in Kentucky. They're in Kentucky.
Over in Kentucky way over there.
Looking at horses, drinking, whatever people drink in Kentucky.
Hopefully they're avoiding old state parks.
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
So
Juan's gonna come back by himself, and we're like, "What's Alondra? Where's Miss Legend?"
Yeah, I don't know. She must have slept. So yeah,
that kind of humor is not as deplorable here. It's deplorable humor.
She's gonna watch this and be like, "You're not allowed to go on there anymore." But no, we'd like to wish him congratulations. They're on their honeymoon, and he will probably be on the show, episode 50. So 2 weeks from now, we're giving him his break, his due diligence.
The big reunion.
The big reunion, episode 50. We have a couple things planned for that in 2 weeks. Some really exciting stuff that we've been thinking about.
We've been dreaming about,
a lot of behind the scenes stuff. As you can see, the studio's changing and everything. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
World changing. My body changing. I'm in severe pain right now.
Yeah, tell us as we segue away from Starbucks and unemployment, what happened to you in the last 24 hours?
The last 24 hours, I think I ate some bad spaghetti. I think I got some of my mom's spaghetti on me.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny. No, my mother came over and she brought some ingredients and she made some spaghetti.
Yeah, very nice of her.
I was out and about trying to get some exercise in.
Okay.
There's a frisbee golf.
Nice.
Did I say that right?
Frolf.
Yeah. A little frolf court or course over by my house. So head over there and rack up a little sweat.
Yeah,
like a dog. Chase after the frisbee as you throw it. It's good athleticism.
It definitely takes a lot of effort to run back and forth.
Oh yeah, but then I ate some spaghetti. Came home. I was like, most of the time,
how nice of her.
How nice of her. But I think that she used some spoiled meat because I am feeling too well. Either I've developed a gluten allergy, or my mom's been trying to save some pennies.
Maybe a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Because as the viewers know, and as you know, my fridge is stocked up with chicken.
We know that there's constantly chicken.
It's a conveyor belt of chicken. Just constantly revolving door.
Yeah.
Of foulness in and out. So I was like looking at the ground beef. I was like, this ain't it. This ain't it, chief.
When you saw it, you were like, were you questioning it?
Yeah, I was like, I looked at it and was like, I shouldn't trust this, but I might as well. Because
what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah, and on the way here, I had to stop by a gas station down the street because I didn't want to destroy your bathroom.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I was having the worst stomach wumbies.
That is very nice of you. You called me. You're like, I'm gonna be a little bit late, but it's because I'm gonna take a shit down the street. And I was like, take your time. And I took a good 10-minute poop. Could just it felt like ground beef coming out. I felt like that like that meat boy, from Aqua Team Hunger Force. I just felt so squishy and malleable like him. It just felt bad. And then I thought it was over, but no. Then my stomach actually started growling. And I got up and I'm here. I am at a trucker's gas station, just making the most loud gruntal noises from my asshole for a good 10 minutes. I get up. I'm like, ugh. I started vomiting because it's the stench of me being there and my stomach being just uncontrollably. So my body is in a mess of disarray right now. I'm in pain, folks. I'm in pain. It hurts. It hurts bad. It felt like ground beef coming out.
I didn't feel good at all, brother.
Oh my god.
That's why I'm led to believe that it was the culprit.
Oh my god.
Either a gluten allergy or it's that ground beef gone foul.
Christ. Why did you paint such a perfect picture? Oh my god. I didn't even hear what you said after that. Oh my god, dude, that's horrible.
It was painful. It was pain. The pain was coming through.
Oh my jeez.
But this is the price of beauty, the price of entertainment that we put ourselves through.
Well, thank you for coming after all that and not canceling.
Oi. My body feels hollow.
How about we throw some coffee in there, make it worse?
Let's get my heartbeat going.
Oh,
what's your first lineup?
Now here, let's say. Let me put the microphone back for a second.
He's gonna put it back, put it all the way back.
That is so funny. So here, let's move this over for a second. This is the lineup for today.
Perfect.
I think that Duncan is superior.
Duncan.
Yeah, I think that as just bare bones coffee goes, I prefer Dunkin' over the other three. I would probably go Dunkin'.
Well, America runs on Dunkin'.
I would go Dunkin', Starbucks, McDonald's. Because I've had McCafe before, and it's not bad. I have never had Wendy's.
Wendy's, McCafe is all right, but I always put McCafe at the bottom because the water quality can't be any good.
Fair enough. What would you rate?
Out of Dunkin' and Starbucks, the top two big dogs in the coffee barista industry?
Yeah, we try to get two big coffees, and then, obviously fast food. Breakfast has been more and more popular. So as people are getting coffee and breakfast in the morning, we want to have a wide array.
And they were definitely getting that this morning.
Yeah.
It was busy.
Yeah, no, they were crazy busy as well. All of these are just their standard black coffee. Apart from Starbucks has three options: a dark roast, medium roast, and light roast. And I asked the drive-through worker which one is the best in your opinion, and she said the medium roast has an equal balance. And she works there and she drinks coffee, so I trusted her. And then the other three are just the standard
Dark roast.
Correct. So yeah, between Dunkin' and Starbucks, which one do you prefer?
Honestly, I think I got to go with Starbucks.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. Mostly for the cold brew lineup.
But that's the thing. It's we're not judging these based off of their mixed drinks.
I think I got to go to the bathroom.
You okay?
I'm going to puke.
Welcome back. My co-host was not feeling well and proceeded to throw up immediately. So we thought obviously it was for the best for him to go home, get some much needed rest, some vitamins, some hydration, and take the day off. Podcasting is the least of his worries right now. But I'll continue with the Starbucks, Dunkin', McCafe, and Wendy's coffee tasting. I'll also talk a little bit about the news that we mentioned before, as well as some of maybe I'll save the questions for when we're all here together. But let's proceed. I have some Gatorade to kind of be my palate cleanser in between all of these, as well as hydrates me so I'm not completely dehydrated drinking all these coffees this early in the morning. So let's start with Dunkin'. I'm really curious to see what I think about this. Oh, pretty smooth. That is not bad. It's really, really dark. It's medium body. It's got some acidity to it. I'm rating this like I would do wine, obviously. It has kind of a weird sweet taste afterwards. I would specifically think that Dunkin' would be the sweeter of the four, just because it's the one I feel like it's mixed with drinks the most. So let's go ahead and try some Starbucks. Oh, wow. That one's the best. That one's the best so far. I think Starbucks is, wow, that's actually very pleasantly surprising. I wasn't expecting the Starbucks black coffee to be as good. This is a medium roast, like I said. A little nutty. It's not harsh at all. Like the Dunkin' was actually very dark, but kind of a sweet flavor afterwards. So the Starbucks actually is the winner for me so far. Let's try the McCafe. Oh, I don't like that at all. Oh, that is not good. Yeah, the McCafe one's gross. It's bitter. It is really watered down. Even the color compared to the other three is just so light. And it tastes like Coke. Like Coca-Cola got in there somehow. Yeah, that's not good at all. All right, let's finish off with Wendy's. The Wendy's one is all right. It's like if you were at a wedding and you've been there for a really long time like 6 to 8 hours, and you're like, I really wish I would have coffee, and then the coffee does come out, and you're like 6 drinks in, you've been dancing, you're sweating, you've had some cake, and you're like, this cake will go great with coffee. I'm glad they brought coffee out finally. And you taste it, and you're like, it's coffee. It's generic coffee. That's what the Wendy's coffee tastes like. It's not anything pleasant, or it's just kind of whatever. It's not very good. It's not bad though. I would, you know what? If I could redo this, I would go Starbucks, McCafe, Dunkin', Wendy's. I really enjoyed the Starbucks one actually. So yeah, now you know if you want to get coffee, go to the underpaid, overworked Starbucks workers and get yourself a medium roast. That was actually really good. Now for the segment that we're going to talk about today, let me pull up our document here. We're going to be talking about Alex Jones, and I really wish that Phil was here with me to explore that subject a bit more. But if you guys don't know who Alex Jones is, he is a right-wing conspiracy theorist. He is a real knucklehead. He was the guy that was talking about Pizzagate really early on, and this was the issue that people were ramping on about, especially because this felt like it was around the same time when Joe Rogan got really popular. So Joe Rogan was like a fan of Alex Jones just because Alex Jones is crazy. So he would have him on and also explore these same theories with him and with other people. And Pizzagate was the one where at the not at the White House, in Washington, D.C., there was a pizza parlor where these politicians and super rich people would go in and ask for a specific pizza. And what it turned out that the theories thought was that it was like child trafficking and like slavery and sex stuff and really weird. So this is who Alex Jones is, right? He was also the guy that the first time that I heard about him was Sandy Hook, the unfortunate shooting that happened, 10 years ago, was a tragedy. And Alex Jones said that it was all fake. These are disaster actors trying to take away guns and all this other crazy shit. And obviously none of that was true. And there's a court case going on right now for defamation, and the families of the unfortunate children who passed away are looking for, I think, $150 million out of Alex Jones and the right-wing empire that he's constructed of InfoWars and other stuff. And so the court's been going on, the trial, the hearing, and it's been really interesting because not only is Alex Jones doing a very bad job representing himself, but also his lawyers are constantly fucking up, including sending copy of text messages to the other party. So during the court trial, you see like, oh, we actually have all the text messages that Alex Jones has sent, and they just bring it up to the judge, and she's like, oh, what the fuck? Including Alex Jones had made a video of the judge on fire, and also on his phone, like constantly talking about Sandy Hook. And then something that isn't part of this trial, but they're using against him, is that he was part of the January 6th committee. And like, obviously that's treason and not a cool thing to do when all those brave warriors went to take back our country. So it's just fucking crazy and fascinating that like he's finally having to pay for some of the crazy shit that he said, because there's been a lot of years 10 years since the Sandy Hook thing, and then it's only gotten worse and worse and worse. And so then you get into a very tough argument with people like him and even people from like the very liberal side about the freedom of speech, right? So obviously people should have the freedom of speech and allowed to voice themselves, but you get to a tough predicament when you have to ask yourself, okay, I was just wondering if the mic was on this whole time. Testing. Yeah, we're good. Just some quick paranoia there. It's all the coffee and all the caffeine. I would love to see like the look on my face, and I was like, have I been recording any of this? Am I just speaking into nothing? No, you get into a very tough argument because it's like, obviously people should have the freedom to voice their opinion, but then it's like, well, what about when their opinion is spreading lies and you're actually causing danger to others because of what you're saying? You know, with the Pizzagate stuff, somebody went with a fully loaded van of weaponry and went into Washington DC trying to like help these kids, and like walked into the pizza parlor and everybody got on the ground. And I think this dude had drove up from like South Carolina. So obviously when you have such a big platform like that, you know, you get into the argument of should you deplatform them? Should they not be allowed on YouTube, on Twitter? And then this is where people like Elon Musk and Joe Rogan are like, well, people should be able to voice their opinion, and the moment they can't, then it's, you know, it's injustice. And it's like, well, you know, maybe this dude shouldn't be allowed to say what he wants to say, or, you know, there should be filters and barriers, because even though it's someone's opinion, that opinion could really lead to some dark shit and make people believe stuff that isn't necessarily true, you know? Like, people have very impressionable minds, and all of a sudden they get fucking wrapped up in the wrong algorithm and go down a rabbit hole of like, they're taking these kids and they're raping them and they're, you know, trafficking them, and it's Hillary Clinton and her gang and her lizard people. It's like, okay, well, none of that is true. Or it turns out some of it is true, because then a couple years later, you get the Epstein Island, and it's like, okay, some of these kids were being trafficked, but it wasn't the way that they thought. And so, yeah, I think it's a very long argument, and I don't think there's a right or wrong decision or right or wrong opinion. It's just like, the opinion has to be had of, okay, if people are going to voice themselves, like we say crazy shit on this podcast. Other people say crazy shit on this podcast. Like, I went down this super Joe Rogan rabbit hole recently, and then I went down this super like liberal rabbit hole recently, where these people were like, you know, if you tell people that they should do keto, they don't have to necessarily fact check themselves. But if you tell someone they're overweight and that's okay, then all of a sudden they have to fact check themselves. And I'm like, well, there is an argument there, because that is true. Like, it's just, we got to have the argument, right? And so with this, specifically with Alex Jones, I think you got to have the argument, like, is he psychotic and should he not be on Twitter? Yeah, I think that's definitely an opinion. And should he still have InfoWars, and should he pay these families for all the, you know, the horrible things that he said about them? Like, yeah, that's probably the least he could do. You know, obviously saying sorry and then still spreading falsehood, like, that's not cool at all. The other falsehood that I wanted to talk about today was actually FC Barcelona, which is a soccer team out of Barcelona, Spain, that is arguably one of the most popular sports teams in general in the world. And they have bought a total of, I think it's 6 or 7 players over the last summer, when they are able to buy players, but they have done it in really shady ways, because they have asked their own players who are still at the team to take weekly salary cuts, and including a specific Dutch player, Frankie de Jong, they have asked him to forego his current contract, because when it was offered, it ended up coming up that like the people that offered it to him, who were no longer at the club, there's some corruption going on, and that's not his fault. He should be allowed to accept the wage that he was offered, and they owe him $20 million in back salary that they're deciding not to pay it, because again, they're a really shady team who does shady shit. And overall, I mean, I think that's super shitty. Like, I hate the way that team runs itself. I hate the fans that think they should be winning everything every year when they don't necessarily deserve it, because they don't run the team well. And this is the reason that Lionel Messi, one of the best players to ever live, had to leave the team last year, because they ran themselves into financial ruin, and then they're doing it again by selling every possible thing that they can just to like maintain competitiveness. When it's like, if you were just to take a year or 2 or 3 or 4 and be like, all right, we're not good right now. You know, we understand that the team previously didn't do the best and ran itself to the ground. So we're just going to do a hard reset so that in 5 or 6 years, 4 years, whatever it is, that we can compete for everything again. But they just can't, you know, it's this privilege that they think they have to win everything every year. And overall, I mean, I just think it's fucking ridiculous. You know, they bring in these players who I think are okay. You know, obviously they brought in a really good striker, which they needed, but does that mean anything? Like, does that mean they're going to win every trophy that's available to them? No, because the teams that are competing are running themselves correctly. And yeah, man, it's just, I fucking hate the team, you know, and they were actually known for being like a really big pioneer for like, we're going to maintain the stature of the club. Their whole motto is that they're more than just a soccer team. And they were one of the last teams to actually take a shirt sponsorship. And then when they finally did, it was UNICEF, which is a very, you know, it's to helping kids out. So it was like a very big deal that like, okay, they're going to take a sponsorship, but it's UNICEF. It's for, you know, helping somebody out. And now not only have they taken sponsorships, but they have sold every last piece of their dignity, and including having Spotify on the front of their jerseys, which like, I don't really think that's a big deal, but they have renamed their stadium the Spotify Camp Nou just to, again, take more money. They are selling their own grass from the stadium, which is fucking lunacy that somebody's going to buy that. Like, they're going to mow the grass on the field every week to maintain its, like, you know, its length. And so now they're like, oh, just instead of just recycling that or using it, let's just package it and sell it for like €12. That, as well as like dog bowls, keychain, like anything that they can possibly slap their logo on, they're doing it. And it's fucking crazy. And then even they have sold off 50% of Barca Studios, which is like an unknown entity. It's just like NFT and like their app and their channel, Barca TV. They sold it for $100 million so that they can register these 6-7 players that they bought, because had they not registered them 24 hours ago when we're recording this on Friday, they would have not been able to play all season. They would have had to leave for free. They would have not been able to take their contract. So they're activating all these like financial corruption levers just so that they can like stay competitive for another year, and they're letting go of what the club originally stood for. And if you're a Barcelona fan, fuck you. But if you're a Real Madrid fan, fuck you too. I don't really care. So yeah, I mean, that was the episode. It was a little bit shorter one, a little different one. Juan is with his Mrs. Phil had to leave because he was throwing up. And I'm here alone in the studio with you. But I do it because I love you guys. And 2 weeks from now, like I said, we're going to hit episode 50 is when you have all three of us back in the studio. Next week, it might just be me again. Who knows? That's all we really had planned. I don't really want to get into anything else without anyone else here. But if you're watching, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We have a lot of cool stuff planned. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next week.